Like this video to support. Join our YouTube family now and never miss out on epic content, entertainment, and surprises. Hit that subscribe button. Let's start. Spoiler alert.
1973, Amazonian Peru. Constance Webb and her colleague Ezekiel Sims are studying an unusual spider. Despite her pregnancy and slight weakness, she perseveres. Sims turns on the entire squad and kills them as soon as he finds the spider. Sims shoots Constance as well, leaving her for dead, even though she tries to take the spider from him. A group of concealed fighters known as Las Arañas, or the Spiders, appear from the trees and seize Constance, escorting her to their underground lair. They take her to a pool and, before Constance gives birth to her daughter, they bite her with the same spider. The Arañas chief informs Constance that her baby will be meant for greatness just before she passes away. Queens, 2003. The girl becomes Cassandra Cassie Webb, who works alongside Ben Parker, Adam Scott, Uncle Ben, as a paramedic. When Cassie and Ben return to the hospital after handling an emergency, the patient's son presents her a sketch as thanks for saving his mother. At first, Cassie feels strange and uncomfortable about it, but Ben forces her to snap a picture. Now residing in New York, Sims is plagued nightly by a dream in which 3 young women possessing spider-like abilities assault and murder him. Sims tells the undercover NSA agent he sleeps with this information. Sims uses his ability, which was passed down via the unusual spider, to poison the agent after learning the truth about her identity. A car that is hanging over a bridge is an emergency, and Cassie and Ben respond. Cassie gets stuck in the car when it crashes into the river, even though they are able to free the driver. Before Ben revives her, Cassie experiences a strong force that seems to trigger something inside of her, causing her to see and hear things. Later, Cassie attends Mary, Ben's sister-in-law's baby shower. When Cassie talks about how her mother died giving birth to her, it makes Mary uncomfortable and awkward throughout the games. Cassie also has an encounter that she dismisses as déjà vu because she believes it already happened at the party. In the vicinity, a nearby building catches fire. While Cassie is caring to an injured guy, she has a vision of herself over her co-worker, O'Neill's body, with his blood on her hands. She then snaps back to the present. Ben and Cassie go to respond. She tries to persuade O'Neill to let her drive the ambulance he is meant to drive after realizing something is about to happen, but he instructs her to wait. O'Neill is dead before Cassie can reach him after a truck crashes into his ambulance less than 10 seconds later. Returning home, a broken Cassie worries she can't control what she witnesses. Then, in a different vision, a bird flies into her window, shattering it, and dies as it hits. Cassie lets the bird fly in and out of the window, indicating to it that she can change the course of events, realizing it's a vision. Sims uses facial recognition software, along with his aide Amaria, to find his possible killers. 3 teenagers, Julia Cornwell, Anya Corazon, and Martha Mattie Franklin, are hit by them. As the 3 girls board the same train that Cassie is getting on, Cassie sees a vision of Sims killing all 3 of them. The girls believe Cassie is attempting to kidnap them, but she swiftly extracts them all. They don't realize they're in danger until they see Sims attacking and killing police officers while crawling on the ceiling in a black outfit like to Spider-Man's. Cassie convinces the girls to accompany her as she robs a taxi. Cassie takes them to the woods in an attempt to explain the visions she has been having after they manage to get away from the Sims and get through their awkward introductions. It dawns on the 3 females that they are somewhat acquainted with Cassie. Anya knows Cassie as someone who lives in her building and leaves her junk mail all over the place. Julia is Cassie's stepdaughter, the patient whose son gave her the drawing. And Mattie flipped Cassie when she nearly hit her with her ambulance because Mattie was riding her skateboard in front of her. In order to prevent Sims from finding the girls while she goes to investigate, Cassie leaves them in the woods. When Cassie returns to her apartment, she discovers writings and photos of Constance along with a photo of the 2 of them. As Cassie is gone, Mattie persuades the restless and bored girls to grab some dinner at a neighboring diner before she returns. Anya and Julia follow her, becoming friends with some boys. When Cassie goes back to the woods, the girls are not there. Before Sims takes Cassie out, she sees a vision of them at the diner, where Julia and Matty are killed. Sims arrives at the diner before her in her haste. Cassie smashes through the front of the diner and smashes into Sims before he can get to the females. Cassie chastises the girls for not listening to her as they bolt to the car. Sims finds out simultaneously that Cassie is Constance's daughter from Amaria. In order to properly hide the girls, Cassie takes them to a motel room. They go on to describe their circumstances and how they are stuck there. Julia's father remarried to a lady Julia feels doesn't want her around, and her mother is in a mental health institution. Anya worries that she may suffer the same fate as her mother, who passed away while she was a small child, and her father, who was deported while she was in school. Matty's father is a corrupt politician who possesses wealth, and she is not keen on interacting with him. Cassie chooses to leave the girls with Ben and attempt to investigate further in an attempt to learn how to stop Sims. Cassie returns to the diner and connects with Sims on a psychic level. Cassie responds that there is no chance the girls could kill him, even though he informs her of her abilities and explains his motivation for pursuing them. Cassie travels to Peru and visits the location where Constance worked. Cassie meets the chief of Las Arañas and is led to her birthplace cave. He removes her spirit from her physical form, causing her to have glimpses of her mother while pregnant. Although Cassie grew up believing her mother didn't want her, she realizes Constance worked hard to ensure Cassie was born healthy, since she was at risk of getting a fatal sickness, and Constance was studying ways to treat the ailment. Cassie returns to her body and begins making her way home. Back in New York, Mary's water breaks, forcing Ben to drive all of the ladies to the hospital. Amaria scans the girls and Sims approaches them. Cassie discovers no one is home and has a vision of Sims slaughtering everyone downtown. Cassie then steals an ambulance and rushes to save them. Sims catches up to everyone and nearly detonates a device, but Cassie drives through a billboard into Sims, rescuing the girls, and leaves Ben and Mary to proceed to the hospital. Cassie asks the girls to help her keep Sims off their backs while she rushes through the streets until the ambulance dies. They make it to a warehouse where Cassie radios for a helicopter to take them out. She instructs the girls to put off flares in explosive crates for when Sims comes. They start going off as soon as he arrives, as the girls race to the rooftop. Despite their attempts to ascend, Sims pulls the chopper down. The three girls try to save Cassie, but they are all left on the verge of death, and Sims mocks Cassie for not being able to save everyone. Cassie remembers her encounter with Las Arañas and uses astral projection to save each female before trapping Sims. The warehouse's sign begins to collapse, and Sims becomes trapped under falling debris. Cassie explains that his visions were warning him not about the girls, but about her. Sims falls to the ground and is crushed by a falling Pepsi sign. This is no joke. Cassie also falls into the river, and one of the rockets hits her in the face, blinding her. Julia leaps into the river to save Cassie before Anya and Matty perform CPR as Cassie instructed, allowing them to revive her. At the hospital, the girls gather around Cassie's bedside, each grateful to the other for saving their lives. Meanwhile, Mary gives birth to a healthy baby boy, whose name is never revealed, but it is clear that he will one day become a well-known web slinger. Cassie is blind and disabled below the waist, but she has taken in Julia, Anya, and Matty to live in her apartment. Cassie tells them about another vision she had, in which the four of them wore uniforms and became super-powered crime fighters. Cassie smiles, looking forward to the future.
Please make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe to our channel. Check out the other videos if you watched this video all the way through. Cheers.